What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. I'm Bancroft. I'm joined once again by Austin, as today we are doing Super 17 from set 20, taking on Cooler Mill. Both these decks got some buffs, is a good way of saying it, from the anniversary. So me and Austin are taking it down and seeing how these feel. What's going on, guys?
I'm glad to be back here. It's been a minute, and I was really excited to play the cooler stuff here. It's a little strange because it's definitely more of an aggressive package now instead of the more control that I'm used to, and I'm really liking it. I had a lot of fun this weekend with it.
I know when I saw the reveals, I was like, damn, I've been wanting to build a Cooler Mill for a while. I just don't want to, like, I don't know when you're coming, because a lot of times you do bring the deck, and I like playing multiple decks. But I'm like, man, these cards look good.
It's fun. Like, I honestly haven't gotten a real good chance to do the cooler to get the Double Strike dual attack off, because a lot of times it's just been a little weird to do that, to try to frame it that way, because you need the Z leader and the Z leader costs 1 red and then some Z energy, and it's usually a lot more energy that I want to drop into a cooler. But the red freeze is amazing in the deck. I love that red Frieza. The Z leader is really good. The Z leader is insanely strong too. If you can awaken and Z awaken in the same turn, especially on your opponent's turn, it's very strong.
Yeah, and the Super 17 deck got its own support as well, with 3 additional cards. One in negate, which is, I feel like it's what it needed, which is fantastic. Another being a 1-drop, which I will totally not play it correctly in this matchup. And the 4-drop, which is phenomenal and which helps get this deck going. Because my concern back in the day was always like, there's been a lot of like weird timings and interactions, because I'm relearning this deck. I've not played this deck in like 2 sets, I think. Like, I remember playing when it first came out, I was like, this is a good deck, but I'm not going to stick with it long enough.
Yeah.
But, so this 1-drop helps you fish the 18 or the cell out of it, the deck, depending on your leader, so it kind of gives you a head start on that, instead of you have to using the leader's ability to do that. And then it has a secondary effect, which I think I'll have an opportunity to do it, but I don't, which is activate main. When this card's underneath a Super 17 card, you can take one of your opponent's battle cards and put it underneath the Super 17 card that's on top of this card. And then you restand that card, I think at the end of your turn or start of your opponent's turn, so that way you can use it as a blocker afterwards. The 4-drop negate is a free negate if your leader is a Z-Awaken, a Super 17 Z leader. And when it's played, it gives one of your Super 17s an auto. When they activate blocker, you restand it. So it makes one of your blockers a dual blocker, which is like, it's just phenomenal, because I always felt like the deck itself does a lot, which felt like nothing. Like, you spend a ton of energy to get to this point, and it's like, oh wow, now I'm a sitting duck. But these cards are fantastic. And the 4-drop, I'll play it next turn. I'll kind of go over it when we get to that point. You played this card very quickly and very early on.
Yep. It's because of the whole new mindset with this new setup is I want to be more aggressive with it. And I don't really like doing that super combo that early, but sometimes you just got to bite the bullet. You can't get the full value off all your cards. And that's something, as I'm mostly a defensive player when I play this deck. So having to use super combo to do that doesn't feel great, but I mostly just want to go ahead and get it on the board. And I know you're going to combo your stuff off. So if I try to wait to get the card draw, value on my turn, your opponent's turn effect, I'm just going to lose some pressure points. So that's the place that I have to get into, because mostly I'm about this deck. You have to kind of plan out when you want to draw cards. It draws cards, especially now with the Z leader, but you have to be really intentional with how you do it. It's not like, oh, I play this card, it searches, I draw, and then my leader also swings, and when I play this, I draw 3 more cards. It's like you have to play the cards to them. I think it's a minus. You have to be very intentional with stuff, and that's sometimes I get a little too caught up in that because I want to have hand advantage, but especially against the green decks. But in here, that's the reason why tapped the red earlier. So I remember I was like, why did I tap the red blue? And I was kind of going back and forth. So I wanted to bounce the cooler back to my hand because I figured you might attack it and I could get this out.
And this is one of the situations where if I had fully understood what I was doing, because like I literally put this deck together like within an hour coming to the shop, like, you know what, screw it, I want to try it out. If I would have read these cards a little bit more or just been more aware of what I was doing when I was building this deck, I would have put the new 1-drop underneath him instead and then activate the main on that and just ate the cooler. So that way you couldn't bounce it back to your hand. So now you have another target during either your defensive step or your offensive step to play this card again to get another good hit on me. So it really slowed me down here. But this card sets you up for turn 3. If you're able to hold your opponent off, or like say you managed to get an early double strike on me, I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll take it. It's fine. The leader awakens either by being at 4 life or having Android 17 in the battle area, and having the Hellfighter in your Z energy. You could do awaken that way as well. But this guy here on the next turn will set that for you. At the beginning of your turn, he will play those 2 cards. Now, granted, it's at the beginning of your turn. So in my case, I would be playing the 17, which will have an auto. So I would have to redeem that auto first, and then I go into the beginning of my turn because it happens before the draw step.
And here, I don't have remember correctly, I don't have a card in my drop to combo with. So I just swing and get the counter negate out, and then I just go ahead and tap 2 to get rid of 15, because honestly, I don't know what the deck does. And I just kind of want it gone.
Yeah, and that's fair. Like, these are new cards you're not familiar with 100%. But this is one of those situations where it's like, it's one less swing that could do against you. But it has already served its point at this junction.
That's good to know for the future, because I know this deck, you can, it's the Z leader thing. It has the whole, kind of like a evolving Z leader. So I was like, oh, I know the other ones had Unity Absorb and you do so on top of it. So I don't know if this one has extra stuff. And that's just kind of a gap knowledge, of not knowing the matchup really. So I just wanted it gone. I'd much rather be safe than sorry, because I didn't have any. Once my attack was kind of negated, I had no other plays. So I was like, I'll just go ahead and get rid of this just to be safe. Make you mill 1 extra one. Honestly, milling, the most part I look at milling is I don't look at it as like I'm trying to win through milling. I try to get mill off as much as possible to deny stuff. That's the most important thing I think about milling is it allows card denial. And if I can do that as often as I can, I prefer to.
So I think before I charge a card, I'm trying to figure out what is the best target to charge. So the 4-drop I just charged was kind of like initially the initial turn 2 play, or possibly even the beginning of turn 3, because you can't go into the 6-drop till you have 3 energy. You can't go into the 8-drop till you have 4 energy. So that's why I said that the 4-drop kind of helps you set up your turn 3. So now I don't have to, like against you, for example, if I left a card on board that I needed for turn 3, you can neg it out. And then I have to spend energy to then play a card and then pay another energy to play the 6-drop. And this is why I said, like, on turn 3, if you wanted to Z-Awaken, you had to use all 3 of your energy. Now you don't, which is fantastic.
That really helps. That just seems so bad for a deck that like wants to be so Z leader focused, have to use all of your energy. That's just really awful.
And I think this turn I will end up messing up. Also, here's another example. Like, if I would play the right card, I could have just absorbed your 3-drop instead, and then put use the leader's effect to put the 3-drop underneath my guy, and that way I wouldn't have to worry about you having a card on board, or because I think he gets a free combo when he's attacked or when you attacked, right?
Yeah, it's once per turn when he's attacked or you attack. Which honestly, and you'll see this here, I always forget that it's when I'm attacked. Because in this game, I'm so used to playing a card just getting deleted that I'm not used to like people when they swing at it getting a combo off. I think mistake's coming soon. I think you just swung into it, made me drop the Z energy. Oh no, you swing into leader. Okay.
So also, the 6-drop is worded you could combo up to 1 card, and because I comboed that card out, if I recall correctly, I can now no longer do my cycle, because in order to go do the full juggle chain, you need to have at least 1 card underneath a Super 17, and that's where I also messed up. I think I realized my game 2. I was like, Austin, I was doing all of this wrong against you.
Yeah, you're talking about that, yeah. And like that's the one thing too is I I always say this with random decks. I don't really pay attention to a lot of decks do, especially like kind of one-off decks like this. I don't know what they do, so a lot of times I try to play with the general knowledge of what a color does. And here's when the mistake Osama comes in here because I wanted to I forgot that I have the free combo. One, my brain was like, oh, I have the Z energy in there. So, but why we put it to the drop already. And two, it was attacked, and I'm not used to it getting attacked. So here I go to awaken and then do all sorts of stuff here. And I go to play the Gohan combo with it because I want to put my Z energy. And then I was like, oh, wait, he has barrier. I just wanted to get the extra draw on my awaken. That was it. And this is kind of just a whole messy situation here. So I just took the L, and comboed off both, but needed to combo off either. And that's just a learning thing because it's, I wasn't paying attention. And I'm also trying to pay attention to this deck. So
I think you said like I said in your experience, that card never really gets attacked. You're always doing the attacking with that card, like
either it gets attacked or it gets counterplayed to where it goes to the drop, or it gets it never gets attacked. It just gets deleted or removed somehow. So I never get the effect, and also just like it just kind of took me by surprise, and just didn't play that well in that part. I was one misplay. I was frustrated because that give me 2 extra cards in my hand, but it is what it is.
And like I could technically, I think I could go into the Cell engine right now, but I won't be able to go into the sibling fusion version, unfortunately, which is really a key thing, especially against you, because the Cell version is when my opponent's energy is switched to rest mode, it restands. So the correct chain here would have been to go to the Z leader before even swinging my first card, and then try going to the Cell version, swing with that guy. If you would have tapped an energy for any reason, I get to restand it. So that way it's 2 attacks from my leader, and then I can attack with the other guy afterwards. And then the sibling version is really strong during your opponent's turn. So it has 2 autos. One is, if I recall correctly, when your opponent attacks, I can restand one of my Super 17s. So with this negate right here that I just played, if I had the other one out, I could have restood the 6-drop, and then it had dual blocker afterwards. See, I got it mixed up. Yeah. I was like, oh, it doesn't restand. It only gives it the auto that can restand. I was like, oh, well, this is fun. Oh, well, I made my mistake. But also, the secondary auto is that when you tap an energy, if correct, I get to, I think, pop one of your cards. If I recall it correctly.
That the count and the negate?
No. The sibling, the third Z leader of this whole deck right here.
Okay, sorry, I got a little confused, but yeah, no, yeah, this was a deck I was kind of interested in just because of the Z leader stuff, like having multiple Z leaders. But I just remember it being a lot of work and a lot of mess for not a lot of value or reward.
Yeah, and that's what it felt like initially, but this anniversary box, I think, did it justice. I don't think it's like top tier by any means, but it definitely did it justice.
Yeah. Here's a little goof. I had a little sequencing error there, but so I wanted to combo out and get the cooler back out in minus, and then mill and draw.
Yeah.
So I think I'm trying to get to my Z Awaken right now, which requires 2 Z energy and it requires 1 energy. And I didn't like comboing off the Gohan, but honestly, my draws were not the best. Like, I think I saw all 4 of my combo attack coolers.
You did do a lot. I think I saw a lot of them.
Yeah, like, if I remember correctly, I know I saw at least 3. I think I saw all 4, and I was not happy about that because. And I saw my Whis, and I had to charge them because I don't want to charge the blue coolers because I use red energy more than I do blue. So I had to charge all of my Whis, and I don't like that. Like, it's not good. I want to use I want to have at least 1 Whis. I only run 3 in the deck. I want at least 1 Whis for that floating effect for 1 turn. It's pretty much I don't expect weeks to stay on the board. I expect you to play it, and then in that same battle phase, if it doesn't get hit, you discard immediately in the activate battle when you rival it. So that's the intent, but I did not have that chance to do that because I was not getting the draws I needed. I didn't see my other I don't think I saw a single one of my dual attack coolers on this one from the new anniversary box like so far, which was very frustrating because I'd rather have seen one of those charge one of those instead of charging all three of my Whis.
Yeah. So I knew this turn was really important because if you could Z awaken during my turn, going into your turn 5, you just pay 5 and just play the 2 cards. But when you tap these 2 cards down, I was like, oh, Oceanus. Oh, ugh. Is it worth pushing now? Like, and you'll see me. I think I count like my deck to a degree like, twice, and I'm really just kind of mapping out like if I wanted to push this turn, could I? Because like the 8-drop, it does cost 2 to play the 8-drop. I need to set a board up. I don't have a board set up currently, so I had to probably pay 1 energy to play a 4-drop. Use activate main to play the 2 1-drops. Swing. Then I go into the 8-drop with 2 more energy, leaving me 1 energy open. And I'm like, cool. Well, that's 2 attacks there, and then I get 1 attack from this guy, which you negated already. Sorry, and then I get the attack with the leader. I'm just trying to play out the best course here. Like, is there a way I could get an attack in, make you use your Oceanus, and then go somewhere else? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, with this here, I
forgot
about the 2 super combos.
Yeah.
Like the Oceanus was like, I really wanted to Awaken last turn, but I had the Oceanus in my hand, and I was like, since I didn't have a Wii, so I was like, this is my best play. And then I took that hit because I figured you could KO the Oceanus, but I'd rather take the 1 card and get an extra one than block something petty like a single attack. Because I'd rather risk the opportunity of getting hit once than waste on the blocker, like using it on like instead of missing a double strike or a crit, you know. And green just KO stuff, so you know it's just the risk you got to take. But I felt pretty confident in it, and I've got enough combo power in my hand to where like I feel like I can get up to a decent enough spot if you take a hit. I mean, if you try to do a bigger swing.
So I want to clarify right here. This also, I read the card really fast. Okay, glad I put it back.
Yeah. And then I think here's when we start. He was read a lot of this because there's this deck's really involved.
Yeah,
it's just a lot.
So yeah, it's one of those things where you pitch a card from underneath one of your cards, and then he had an effect where if you pitch a card from underneath a card, you do XYZ.
Yeah, there goes the Oceanus kill.
So now the blocker's gone. You have no energy. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna pay 1 for Selmac and just swing 40k quad.
Yep, that Selmax is the one thing I could not have prepared for. Yeah. I was prepared for everything else, but Selmax I was not. Like I just scooped because I was like, there's no way. Like there's just no way.
I had 4. I can't remember the cards. You had 4 cards in your hand, but I had at least 45 on board, not incorporating the 8-drop also on board as well. So. But yeah, I mean, that was today's matchup. Thanks for tuning in. Keep minders buttons, links, check them out, and bye.